Hi, and welcome to this screencast about blended learning. Blended learning is a type of learning that allows students to have control over their education by giving them the reins over when and where they learn and how fast they're presented with material. So obviously this can really individualize things and help individual students. One way that blended learning can be done is called a flipped classroom. A flipped classroom means that students are being presented with basic lecture material at home so that during class they can have already viewed recorded lectures and they can have had time to come up with questions. This doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why this happened. Could you explain such and such? And additionally, the class time can be spent doing group projects and guided practice while the teacher is there, rather than leaving the students to do that at home and having the teachers provide the basic facts. So, what I'm going to do for this screencast is I'm going to introduce a specific tool for blended learning, and that is recording a lecture to be used in a flipped classroom setting. So, how I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to show how to record a PowerPoint lecture by using a screencast, which ironically I'm using a screencast right now. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to Google Screencast-O-Matic, which is the website that I'm using to make this screencast. I'm going to click on it when it comes up, and it's super easy to use. All I need to do is click Start Recording. I'm not going to do that because obviously I'm already recording. You know, when you're creating your lecture, you'd just come here, you'd click Start Recording. Your menu will come up, and at that point you can switch to your PowerPoint window and start recording your lecture. I've just pulled up a PowerPoint that I made for a past class, and I'm just going to go a couple slides into it just to kind of give an example of how this would work. So I'd pull up my PowerPoint, I would hit Start Recording, and then I'd begin giving my lecture notes while clicking through my PowerPoint in presentation mode. So, for example, today's lesson is about the Fukushima Daiichi disaster. On March 11th, a magnitude 9 earthquake hit Japan. Japan is an area of historic great seismic activity, but this is still one of the biggest quakes they've had in recent history, and it caused colossal damage. One of Japan's nuclear power stations, the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station, sustained pretty worrying damage because of the earthquake. So, as you can see, 3 of the reactors exploded and a 4th had fire damage. This is obviously a concern to people because they are, in fact, nuclear power plants. And at this point, if I've presented all the information I want to about this slide, I can click through. I don't have to worry about, lining up my audio and my PowerPoint and stuff like that, because it's just going to be a video that the students can watch, which is obviously a lot easier than trying to time slide transitions and such and such. So, I click and move to the next slide, and I show, this is a picture of the power plant, and, I could use my mouse to point out, this is such and such a building, this is such and such a building, and over here we can see this. And in fact, I think PowerPoint even has some pointers that you can use during presentation mode to do that, so you could even do that if you were feeling super legit. I can say, this news article I'm going to click to, and nope, just kidding. Well, I would like all of you to read this before class tomorrow, and, I can go through my PowerPoint, slide it at a time, at the speed at which I want to do it, while giving all of the things that I think are important, and then tomorrow in class I can talk about, maybe the questions the students have about this, or what do they think the significance is, or, get in your group and do this, and write such and such. So, blended learning obviously has a lot of potential if it's done right, and hopefully this is one way that it could be utilized. So, enjoy!